Hello Linux fans, Rob here and welcome to Linux Quest. Recently YouTube released a community tab within the channel for creators which allows you to interact with polls and questions and things like that. So I recently posted a poll asking if Chrome OS made it easy and fluid for you to install Linux apps and interact and use them as you would with a Linux-based distro. Would that encourage you to use Chrome OS as your daily driver or to use it full time? And so the poll's actually condensed more than that, but surprisingly there were, gosh, over 150 replies, and so I thought it would be fun since this is set up now and we can kind of focus in on those results. And I was also very surprised by the results, but I thought it would be fun to go through and look at some of the replies and the results of the poll. So we're going to flip over and do that now. So here we are in the community section of Linux Quest, and here's the poll. Would you use Chrome OS as your daily driver if you could easily install Linux apps? Now, originally I think I had posted something like fluidly use or something. My point here is you can pull up a Linux app, use it within Chrome OS as if it were completely native, interact with the file manager and have read-write access, the whole 9 yards. Perhaps I should have put all of that in there. However, based off of this simple poll here, I was really surprised. We've had 152 votes as of 1 day ago, so I think we're coming up on 2 days here. But nevertheless, early on, no really took off. So like yesterday I checked it, and it was like 24 no and 59 yes or something like that. Or excuse me, reverse that. It was like totally reverse that. It was like 24 yes and 59 no. So anyway, I wanted to read over some of the comments because I think, it's number one, it's great to hear other opinions. It's sometimes thought-provoking. And, I understand where many people who said no are coming from. And so we're going to read through these, and some of the yeses here I concur with completely. So Jake Garza said no, I can already easily install Linux apps because I have Linux installed. And I love that. I thought that was an excellent point. So he got a thumbs up and a heart from me there. And so, I even posted, hey, great answer, because it is a great answer because many people just simply see it that way. They're like, hey, I'm happy. I've got a great Linux operating system. I can install any of the Linux apps that I care to, and, life is good. So, great answer. And then Ankit, if I butcher your name here, I apologize if I've not said it correctly, but Ankit, I concur with what you listed here, which is yes, because I can get the best Android app and Linux apps. It's just like Windows and phone apps and desktop apps together. It will be great even if I'm on a tablet, as I can use the Linux apps to get my professional work done and then Android apps for playing games. And I believe that was everything listed there from Ankit. And you know what? I agree. So another heart there. I've been looking at it just the way you described, minus the Windows phone apps and desktop apps. But I just feel like you've got the best of both worlds in one OS. There are some fantastic Android apps out there that I use all of the time. Some of those are for work-related tasks. But certainly within Linux, there are a myriad of excellent Linux apps, and you'll find many of those within Linux Quest on the channel, where I go through and talk about all the reasons why I love the app so much. But again, I just see this as exciting, number one, for Linux. Number two, to be able to have the best of both worlds, interacting and working well together in one widely supported OS has some real lure to it. All right, moving on here. Jason Blade says no. What's wrong with Linux? And what's wrong with Linux apps? And again, that's the sentiment you're going to see from many people who said no. And so, 5 thumbs on that one for you, Jason. Randomizer said no, and be spied on by Google even more. 4 thumbs on that one. And there's something to be said for that. Certainly, Google is checking out everything you're doing online. There are settings that you can go in and try to control some of that, but I think at the end of the day, they're going to know everything you're doing anyway, and you either have to come to grips with that or de-Googleize yourself. I've tried that in the past. It's really not that easy, considering that I've got a YouTube channel and do many other things within. We got a pop up here from. Okay, it's just a like, so I'm going to close that out, but. Certainly hard to de-Googleize yourself. It can be done. All right, moving on here. Linux user says, yes, I currently have a well-working Linux ThinkPad, but if it dies out of warranty, a Chromebook will definitely be in consideration. A laptop that can run both Linux apps and Android apps is an underrated benefit. I tend to agree there. So let's give you a thumb up right there. Mark Gates, no, I have a Linux laptop for Linux apps. And again, that's what many of the no's, that's the way they see it. And, I certainly can understand that viewpoint. Mr. Hunter F said, no, just Linux. Zane Wolf Alpha says, no, I don't like Google. They spy me and put all my history on YouTube and on Google, and when people search my channel, they see my history even on other channels. And again, Zane Wolf, you're absolutely right. It does happen. There are some controls that Google has put in place where you can turn certain things off, but I think at the end of the day, you're still going to have issues with that. And then we had a few more comments here under the photo I posted of the Android and Chrome and everything here. Abid says, Google should officially make Chrome OS available to all PCs and not just limited to Chromebooks and Pixelbooks. By then, we'll have another great Linux distro. And I'll tell you, Abid, there are, I think it's, well, I'm trying to remember the name now of the OS. It's Chromium OS, but it's by a company. I'm drawing a total blank. Anyway, there are third-party Chrome OS versions out there. They don't have Android support. It'd be interesting to see if maybe they get Linux support before getting Android support. But I think Google probably wants to control all of that as much as they can so that they can realize the growth they're looking for in Chrome OS. Nevertheless, if it was made available like any other Linux ISO, then there would be no need to buy hardware and things like that. So I don't know that we'll ever see that happen. It would be fun and cool if it did, because that would allow people to install Chrome OS, pull up Android apps. If they had access to the Play Store, if it was official from Google, that would, I think, bring more people in. All right, and then Ankit had another post here. Ankit says, with the support of Linux apps, Chromium OS becomes more useful, and then I can use it as my daily driver. Wish it gets support ASAP. So certainly that's in keeping with what you'd posted earlier. I think it would be more useful. And then Muhammad has posted here, real talk, man. I hope that's a good thing as far as real talk, and so thank you for your post there. So I'm going to leave this up for probably another few days, maybe over the weekend, and we'll just see how the votes come in. Yes has creeped up a little bit, but no is still certainly in the majority here. All right, well, this was fun. I appreciate this community section here within YouTube, and I think we'll be doing more things like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching.